precisely 1:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Edited by Catherine Pereira. Read by Sabrina Zawahir. First, the headlines. Speedy concessions to the people in the isolated flats gets underway. Current quarantine protocol to be amended. Statements have been recorded from 228 persons regarding the Mahara prison incident. Travel restrictions have been imposed to 6 Grama Niladhari areas in Waligama. And in world news, large gaps remain after trade talks with the EU chief in UK. Now the local news in detail. The government says a proper system will be implemented to provide concessions to the people in isolated areas who are living in flats in Colombo. PCR tests have been conducted for nearly 1,000 people yesterday for the people living in Randhya Uyana and Mihijaya Sevana flats. 40 infected corona cases were reported from the Randhya Uyana flats yesterday. Meanwhile, providing of dry rations and food items for these people is being carried out by Satosa. Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavindra Silva said Sri Lankan expatriates will no longer require to undergo 14-day home quarantine period if they test negative after PCR tests conducted following the mandatory quarantine period. He said the Sri Lankan expatriates returning to the country from overseas are being sent to a quarantine process at government-managed quarantine centres or hotels following PCR tests conducted on them on arrival at the airport. Those who are undergoing the 14-day mandatory quarantine process at hotels or quarantine centres would be sent home if they tested negative upon PCR tests at the completion of the quarantine period. Those who test positive would be sent to hospitals, and those who are found negative will no longer require to undergo the 14-day quarantine process at home, the Army Chief said. Police spokesman DIG Ajit Rohana says that 228 statements have been recorded from prison officers, doctors, nurses and inmates. He said that a court order was issued yesterday pertaining to the post-mortem examination of the inmates who died in the unrest. He said an estimated report is to be obtained from the chief government evaluation officers who mentioned that the loss incurred at the Mahara prison incident. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing local news, vote for the third reading of the budget will take place today. Leader of the House, Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, says that it will be held at 5 p.m. today. Finance Minister and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa presented the budget to the Parliament on 17th of last month. The second reading of the budget was conducted on the 10th. The second reading of the budget was passed in Parliament with a majority of 99 votes. According to Epidemiology Unit of the Health Ministry, 697 new COVID-19 cases were reported yesterday. Among the positive cases identified on Wednesday were 651 close contacts of the infected from Paliagoda COVID-19 cluster, 43 infected persons from the prison cluster, and 3 arrived from overseas and currently quarantined, including 2 from Canada and 1 from Pakistan. According to the Epidemiology Unit report yesterday, a total of 30,075 COVID-19 cases have been reported and 8,131 patients are being treated at hospitals. Another 584 individuals are currently under investigations in hospitals, and Sri Lanka reported 144 deaths. The chairman of the State Pharmaceutical Corporation, Specialist Dr. Prasanna Gunasekara, says that standards and activities in Osusalas of the corporation has been expedited. The people can receive their medicine to their doorstep by directing their prescription to the website of the corporation. Participating in the Subharati program of the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, he said that more information can be obtained by dialing the telephone number 0714 398 461. With that, we conclude the local news. The main news story follows.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vedha Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedha Mahatmya.
Stern travel restrictions has been imposed on 6 villages in the Waligama Health Medical Officers Division due to 18 infected persons reported from the area. Health Director of the Southern Province, Specialist Dr. Chandima Siritunga, said that this decision has been taken on the advice of the Governor of the province, Dr. Willie Gamagay. Accordingly, travel restrictions have been imposed to Galboka East and West, Alutvidia, Kotegoda and Kovangamua and Hettividia. Meanwhile, 10 corona-infected persons were reported from the 7 business places in Alutgama and Berwala. Therefore, PHI Mudita Amarasinghe in Berwala has decided to close down these places. That was our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedha Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
In Watchlight, 3 persons with a stock of turmeric valued at 10 million rupees have been taken into custody this morning. They were arrested while transporting the stock by a lorry from Maravila Mudukotua coastal line. The amount of turmeric detected is 1,350 kg has been brought from India. It has been revealed that they were residents from Madampe, Toduava and Barudelpola areas. That came to you in Watchlight. A bulletin of world news follows. The headlines of the world news. Large gaps remain after trade talks with the EU chief in UK. Canada authorizes Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. UK warns of allergic reaction over vaccination. The world news now in detail. Boris Johnson's dinner with EU chief Ursula von der Leyen aimed at breaking the Brexit trade deadlock has ended without agreement. A Number 10 spokesperson said a very large gaps remain, but talks will continue with a firm decision by Sunday on whether a deal can be reached. Mrs. von der Leyen said the two sides were still far apart. Talks between the UK's chief negotiator Lloyd Frost and the EU's Michel Barnier will resume in Brussels later. The two negotiators also attended the 3-hour dinner meeting between the two leaders. Canadian health authorities have approved the COVID-19 vaccine developed by Pfizer of the United States and Germany's BioNTech. Health Canada said yesterday that it approved the vaccine after screening based on provincial standards for drugs and vaccines for the coronavirus. It also said the vaccine meets stringent safety requirements and that the review process was rigorous. The authorities said that after the inoculation starts among many people aged 16 or older, officials will closely monitor the vaccine safety and will not hesitate to take actions if any concerns are identified. British authorities have issued an advisory after 2 people who got a dose of new vaccine for the coronavirus showed sharp adverse reactions. Inoculation of the vaccine developed by US pharmaceutical giant Pfizer and Germany's BioNTech began in Britain on Tuesday. The National Health Service says 2 NHS workers who were vaccinated along with elderly people developed symptoms of anaphylactoid reaction, which commonly involves a skin rash, breathlessness, and a drop in blood pressure shortly after getting a shot. That ends World News. Prior to concluding the World News, the headlines once again. Large gaps remain after the trade talks with the EU chief in UK. Canada authorises Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. UK warns of allergic reaction over vaccination. That ends World News. The development news follows. Taking a look at the development news, the government will complete constructing the expressways and the 100,000-kilometre road network in the next 5 years as envisaged in the Vistas of Prosperity and Splendour vision of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to make a self-sustained country. That ends development news. Next up is the sports news. Another 2 matches of the LPL tournament will be played at the Surya Veva Stadium today. Colombo Kings and the Jaffna Stallions teams and Gold Gladiators with Candy Tuskers are scheduled to play. At present, the Ambulla Vikings team is in the forefront at the points table. Jaffna Stallions is in second, while Colombo Kings team is in the third place. That was sports news. Next up is the business news. State-of-the-art cement manufacturing facility Lanwa Sanstha Cement Corporation Private Limited, which is slated to be one of the largest in the region, is scheduled for commencing in June 2021. The facility, which is spread across 63 acres, is in Mirijawala Export Processing Zone, Hambantota. A BOI venture, the investment for phase 1 of project was $70 million and the production capacity of same is estimated to be 2.4 million metric tons per annum. That ends business news. Economic news follows.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Congratulations on your promotion. When will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
The COVID-19 pandemic has not had a major negative impact to the apparel exports revenue, and Sri Lanka will secure around $3.7 billion revenue for 2021, the Sri Lanka Apparel Association stated. Sri Lanka had an apparel export revenue of $5.6 billion in 2019. The exports in 2020 were also boosted by around $750 million coming from personal protection equipment. However, this segment is drying up since Chinese products are now available in the global market. That ends economic news.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
No, Amma. We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
Oh, really? How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy. She might be feeling very uncomfortable. The airport must be heavily crowded because it's a season.
Amma, calm down. Everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge. There's nothing to worry.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Finally, it's a look at the weather report. The Met Department says showers will occur at a few places in northern, eastern and north-central provinces. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in Sabragamua, central, over and western provinces, and in Gaul and Mathura districts in the evening or night. That was the weather report, and prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. Speedy concessions to the people in the isolated flats gets underway. Current quarantine protocol to be amended. Statements have been recorded from 228 persons regarding the Mahara prison incident. Travel restrictions have been imposed to 6 Grama Niladhari areas in Waligama. With that, we conclude the news, and over to my friend, and certainly yours as well, who is all geared up to keep you entertained during this lunch hour with a wonderful collection of music, of course. Over to you, Chandima.